Now that's quite the intro, wouldn't you say? I wrote it. And the truth is, everything on that intro is the truth. Those are highlights. All of us, everyone in this room has highlights. And the only way I can actually even appreciate the highlights is I have a lot of lowlights. A lot of lowlights. So when the great things happen, that's when you celebrate. That's the truth. And you know what? If we want to really create an exceptional and extraordinary life, we have to do it leading with a whole lot more curiosity and a lot less fear. So what I'd like to invite you to do with me for the next, I don't know, let's say 16 and a half minutes, is become more curious with yourself. Now, I'm a very curious person, and I'll be honest with you. About 2 years ago, I got really curious about myself. I mean, I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an award-winning humorist. And I had to figure out how in the heck had I become this person? How would I become this cranky, this anxious, right, family? This neurotic? This is not me. How did I get here? So I did what every curious person did, is I went to my database, to be honest with you. I started emailing all my database, like, truthfully, what is the badge of honor of busy? Why do we love it so much? What is it? You know, the number one reason why we're busy is that when we're busy, man, you get good feedback. Oh, look at all the stuff you got going on. Wow, how do you do it? Right? You got a full-time job, a small business on the side. You got the kids going here, kids going there, kids going there. It's driving. You got 2 sports, an arts class, and don't forget Taekwondo. Oh, and then there's fundraising. Hands up, who's got tickets on them right now? They need to sell them for something. Hands up. Seriously, put your hands up. Buy tickets off these people because it's a lot of work. Think about this. When you were a kid and you wanted to get somewhere, how'd you get there? You walked, you biked, or you bused, depending on where you grew up. My dad did not even know where my schools were. Was never at them. And you know what's cool about that? Culturally, that was supported. Tuesday night, -35 Edmonton, I'm out at something I'm attending. And it's, what is he doing? He's watching NHL. And I'm like, could you come get me? He goes, kid, figure it out. And what did we do? We figured it out. So I got curious, but I wanted some data. Right here, I know I'm at a TED Talk. I need some data. So I found a research project that happened at the University of Virginia last year. Timothy Wilson, he wanted to figure out, could we as adults just be? So he had his subjects come into a room, just a table and a chair, no windows, no electronics, of course. Now, there was a little buzzer on the table and the thing was you had to sit in the room and just be for 20 minutes. That's the deal. But if you wanted out of the room early, you could zap yourself on the little buzzer. Now, it hurt, but it didn't actually hurt you. Just guess the percentage of people that zapped themselves to get out before 20 minutes. Over 85%. Now, the only people that stayed were women. I'm not sure what that means. Another TED Talk right there. But here's what he concluded. He said, we would rather harm ourselves than be alone with our own thoughts. Well, here's another one. Gets even better. The World Health Organization just produced this piece of data, that the average high school student today is experiencing the same levels of self-imposed anxiety as the average psych patient did on the ward back in the 50s. But it gets better than that. Guess where that anxiety is coming from? Us, their parents. Now, I have 2 young girls. I have 18-year-old and 21-year-old, right? We've just come through all that. Us, their parents. And I realized, it's my responsibility to manage the energy of our house. My responsibility. So, here's another research project. Oh, look at that. The Edgecombs. Now, there's a little bit of photoshopping going on there, but that's not too much, just a bit. And from the outside looking in, man, we look like we got it going on, don't we? I mean, we're both business people. We're both award-winning business people. We got 2 kids, 2 dogs, a cat, and a fish that won't flip and die, okay? They stink. We just sold 8 acres of a fruit farm that we lived on for 9 years. I married a builder. Is anybody else in the room married to a builder? Anybody? Has anybody ever slept with a builder? Anybody? We have moved 27 times in the 30 years we've been together, okay? I'm just saying. And from the outside looking in, yeah, we got it going on. Well, 2 years ago, my beautiful husband, Kevin, fell off the second floor of one of his buildings. He broke his back, his pelvis, ribs, the usual stuff, water on the old lungs and whatever. And when I found out he didn't kill himself and he didn't bang his head, after that, I was like, this is great. I got ticked off. Found out later that that's actually a normal response after you're just so mad. And then I completely unraveled for the next 3 months into a really deep depression. And I walked over to the kitchen table one day and I went like this. I tapped out. I said, I want off this treadmill. I cannot do this anymore. I got to figure out. I got to Photoshop my life, not just a photo. I got to Photoshop me. I need some space. I need some time. I need to figure out how can I make some more time in the day just to even breathe. So I found a couple of products. You're going to love them. Look at the first one. It's the Bathe and Brew. It's the Bathe and Brew. Shower, coffee maker, soap dispenser. Is that not the best? You can now take cream with your conditioner. Awesome product. You know what? There's probably 20 in this room going, oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You're going to love this next product. Talk about time saving. Look at it. It's the wine rack. Yes, the wine rack. Now you can work out and drink at the same time. Just cut to the chase. And I do own one of these, by the way. And just so your little, information for you, it holds an entire bottle of wine. And when you're done that, you just blow right back in and boom, you're a double D right back again. It's fantastic. What a great product. Just go online. You can order one up for a few friends for Christmas. It's a beautiful product. But every once in a while, there is an idea that ignites something in us, right? There's a thought. There's that aha. There's that moment that goes, because remember, I'm in search mode here. I'm curious. I want to know, how can I change me? And I'm doing what I do a lot of, is I'm sitting in yet another hotel, because I'm on the road a lot, and I'm flipping through the movie channels, and I saw this movie, The Way. Now, The Way is a beautiful movie about the Camino de Santiago. It's an 800-kilometer journey across northern Spain that's been walked on for thousands of years. And I watched this movie and I thought, man, if I can wine taste my way across Spain, I am in. Now, here's the crazy thing, and we say it all the time. Be careful what you ask for, because you're probably going to get it in spades. Now, what I insisted on with this journey of mine, because I became obsessed. I read everything. I watched everything. Blogs, videos, documentaries. I researched the heck out of this thing, except I missed a couple of small points. I never actually checked what's the average weather pattern like in the month of March in the rainiest part of Europe. Never checked that. And I never checked how many people actually walk the Camino in the month of March in the rainiest part of Spain, because I insisted on going alone. No friends. I had friends say, oh, come. Nope. No spouse. Nope. No tours. Just me and the backpack. So if you're ever going to do this, little buddy, oh man, you're going to start in southern Spain. You're going to climb up and over those Pyrenees the first day. 8 hours straight uphill. It's fantastic. I had 3 goals when I set out on this journey. The first goal I had is, number 1, I've got some great friends. I love my friends. But I thought, I want one more friend. I want a friend that maybe lives on the other side of the planet. Well, I never met anybody, so how could I make a friend? Number 2, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm walking 25 to 40K a day. I'm hoping I lose a pound. Not one. Now, you'll see why in just a second. Number 3, now I don't know about you, but I got a pretty strong voice in my head. I call her Hagdalinda. She's pretty critical of me a lot of the time, and I was hoping, truthfully, that I'd like myself more by the time I finish this thing. And the jury is actually still out on that one. So I headed out, right? Oh, I got my passport, and the first place you go, you get it stamped, and everywhere you stop for lunch and dinner and you stay, you stamp, and by the end, you got hundreds of stamps on your passport. It is so exciting. And the first day, it's fantastic. It's Europe. It's like walking in a postcard. Right? It's beautiful. The trails are fantastic. It's 24 degrees. I'm wearing shorts. I'm going, this is awesome, because look at this. It's the only common denominator is what? There's no one there. So what do? I take the first of hundreds of selfies later. And ironically, it's a picture of my shadow, and it's foreshadowing of what's to come, which also became the cover of my book when I wrote it about the Camino. My first of hundreds of selfies. And I had my first stay in my first albergue, which is a pilgrim's, hostel, and it's like an IKEA commercial. I mean, there's a his and a hers bathroom. That was the last one of the whole 35 days, by the way, a his and a hers. But I'm still full of hope and joy, and I'm just heading out the next day. Only 7:90 to go, right? And the sun's still out. And all you have to look for is the old way markers. Look for the way markers, and I'm sure there's probably a couple pilgrims in this room. Are there any couple pilgrims in this room? I got to meet my fellow pilgrims, right? You look for the arrows. You just follow the arrows. When you're lost, you just keep looking. Look for the arrows, and it just keeps you on your track. But soon, 3-4 days in, the wind kicks in, and then the snow kicks in, and then the sleet and the snow kick in. And for the next 30 days, I had sleet, snow, wind, rain, and of course, the trails turn off to a river. And I'm thinking, hey, I am a motivational speaker. I need to be more grateful. And I'm going, I am really grateful that I'm wearing Gore-Tex boots. Why? Because they're waterproof. Isn't that great? Now, what does Gore-Tex not do? It doesn't breathe. So what does that cause? Foot infections. I lost all my toenails and blisters. But that's great too. You know why? Because the pain of that distracts you from how boring it is to walk across Saskatchewan for the next 5 days. Now, my husband will attest to this. I am a princess. And one of my biggest fears when I travel is, where am I going to go to the bathroom? Well, apparently anywhere, okay? Just drop your drawers here, Linda, because satellite won't even see you. There's no air. So I went to alcohol, okay? That's why I never lost a pound. Look how cheap it is. It's $1.19 a bottle. It's cheaper than water, but it's even better than this. This is not folklore. Look at this. It comes out of the fountains. It's free. And even if it's crappy, cheap wine at 8 in the morning when you are miserable, who cares? And 5K to go. Now, I'd call home to my parents once a week, and 5K to go for some reason. It is pouring rain. I call home to my dad. Now, my dad has never been on a computer. He'd say something like, how do I find you on the WW? He goes, but here, Linda, I've got to tell you, it's the sweetest thing he's ever said to me. He says, Linda, I went down to the AMA. I got myself a map of Spain. I'm following you with a ruler. And I know some of you don't even know what that means, but he's following me with a ruler. He goes, you must be so proud. I said, you know what, Dad? I'm almost there. It's a big deal when you finish this thing. You walk into that square, Santiago, the cathedral, it's a big, big deal. Well, not for me. No one is there. So I had a little cry and went off to my room and drank a bottle of $1 wine and I came out the next day, and of course, the sun came out. And you know what? I tracked it. For the next 3 months, it stayed out. Seriously, 90 days, it was sunny. And a good friend of mine, Sean Stratton, said this to me because I was commiserating. I was feeling really pathetically sorry for myself. He says, Linda, first the work, then the lessons. First the work, then the lessons. You know what really has ticked me off? I didn't actually get the lesson until probably maybe only 6 weeks ago. 18 months after I finished that walk across Spain. 18 months, I finally got the lesson. You know what? When Kevin hurt himself, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is a wake-up call. He is going to change. This is going to change him. He's not changed at all. He is still the play hard, work hard guy. It didn't change him one bit. It changed me. I decided I needed to create some spaces in my life, and it is a purposely mindful, conscious decision I make every day. If you actually want to break busy, you need to create the spaces in your life so actually the ideas have some place to land, to furbish themselves. I changed. So how do we declutter? Because that's what it is. It's either mental clutter, it's physical clutter, it's emotional clutter, it's clutter in your calendars. Is you need to, first of all, decide. Most of us make no decisions at all. Decide you want to. Then just try it. You do something about it. Just try it and see how it fits. See how it feels. See how in or out of control it sits seriously in your body. Decide, do, and discover. That's what decluttering is all about. But when we get all overwhelmed, which we all do, don't get me wrong, I still get overwhelmed. I love this cartoon where you're hovering over a field of flowers. And your buddy says, stand, just choose one and start there. That's all you got to do. Just choose one. One box, one cupboard, one day. Choose one and start there. So I got curious this last week and I asked my daughter Josie, I said, Josie, has Mom changed in the last year? And she says, I think you're just a lighter presence in the room. And I thought, that's good enough for me. Thank you very much.